The reservation was for 7:30, and Kira Summers had exactly 3 minutes to decide whether to walk through that door or disappear into Portland's rain-soaked streets. Through Hannock Gardens' frosted glass, she glimpsed silhouettes moving between candle-lit tables. Her reflection stared back, dark brown skin glowing against borrowed silk, natural curls swept into an updo that had taken 45 minutes to perfect. She looked nothing like herself. That was the point. Maya Chen didn't exist. The name, the edited photos, the fabricated details, all armor against men who wanted a black woman as decoration, rebellion, or something exotic to collect. Inside, a man sat alone at table 12. Dark hair, strong shoulders beneath expensive tailoring. He was waiting for Maya Chen. He had no idea Maya Chen wasn't coming, but Kira Summers walked through that door anyway, carrying her lie like a shield, unaware he'd brought his own. The hostess led her through warmth and sesame oil, past couples sharing banchan to table 12. The man looked up, and Kira's prepared smile faltered. He was arresting. Sharp jawline, dark eyes that assessed and dismissed simultaneously, mouth set in a line suggesting rare smiles. His charcoal suit probably cost more than her monthly rent. Maya? Faint accent, Korean vowels softening consonants. Yes, David? David Kim. His handshake was firm, brief. Please. Kira settled across from him, hyper-aware of his analytical gaze, not lustful, cataloguing, like he was taking inventory of discrepancies. First blind date? He asked, pouring her water. You? First. Simple, honest. Then we're both nervous. She accepted the glass, grateful for something to occupy her hands. The server appeared, greeting David in rapid Korean. He responded fluently before turning back. I ordered a few dishes. Acceptable? I trust your judgment. You clearly know this place. Something flickered in his expression. The owner is a family friend. The weight behind those words suggested more than friendship. Business, obligation, territory. Food arrived in waves, parjeon crackling with heat, bulgogi tender enough to dissolve, kimchi that burned pleasantly. David ate with mechanical efficiency, but watched her reactions with unsettling attention. You're not what I expected, he said, setting down chopsticks. Kira's pulse quickened. No? Your photos were different. People always look different in person. Different, he repeated, unreadable. They navigated safe topics, Portland's rain, coffee shops, neighborhoods, surface conversations revealing nothing. But beneath words, Kira felt the weight of mutual observation, both building profiles, both maintaining fiction. Why a blind date? She asked over delicate panna cotta. A man like you doesn't struggle for attention. David's mouth curved minimally. Women are attracted to success, status, the idea of who they think I am. His eyes held hers. I wanted someone who saw me, not what I represent. The honesty stunned her. And do you think I see you? I think you're trying very hard not to be seen yourself. The observation landed like a blow. Kira reached for her purse. I should go. Wait. His hand moved across the table, not touching, but close enough to convey intention. I apologize, but you didn't... The lie tasted sour. Early morning tomorrow. Let me walk you out. He signaled for the check that appeared and vanished with suspicious speed. No receipt, no payment exchange, just murmured words and respectful acknowledgement. Portland night wrapped around them. Cool air, rain-washed streets, distant coffee roasters. Kira's car was 3 blocks away, deliberate escape route. They walked in silence, David positioning himself between her and the street, scanning surroundings with military precision. Maya. He stopped at her Honda, hands pocketed. I know you lied. Kira's heart slammed. What? Your name isn't Maya Chen. The photos were heavily edited. Profile details don't match your actual life. His voice gentled. I'm not angry. I'm telling you I know. How? Because I lied too. The confession hung between them like fog. My name is David Kim, that's true, but I'm not the man you were supposed to meet. My friend asked me to substitute, to observe, to verify you weren't interested in money or status. He looked away. To make sure the woman who showed up was genuine. Men like him, Kira repeated slowly. And you? Someone who should know better than to pretend. They stood between streetlights, two people wearing masks now staring at recognition. So we both showed up as someone we're not. Kira managed to laugh. That's either incredibly stupid or perfectly honest. Perhaps both. Your friend, will he call? No? I'll tell him you're not a match. David's expression hardened. Because you weren't interested in him. You were interested in escaping whatever made you create Maya Chen. And what makes you think you understand that? Because I understand hiding better than most. He pulled hands from pockets, revealing expensive watch and thin white scars, speaking of survived violence. You came here protecting yourself. I respect that impulse more than you know. Kira should have left. Instead, what do you do, really? The real you? You don't want to know. I think I do. David studied her, weighing internal calculations. I run a business operating in shadows. That requires loyalty, ruthlessness, and the ability to make problems disappear. His eyes locked on hers. I wear expensive suits and pretend civilization, but underneath, I'm exactly what your instincts warned you against. Korean mafia. She said it matter-of-factly. His silence confirmed everything. Kira started laughing, slightly hysterical sound that raised his eyebrows. I came here as Maya Chen because I'm exhausted. Exhausted from men who want me because I'm black or despite it, or who have fetishes or want me smaller, quieter, more convenient. I wanted invisibility. One evening without expectations, and got me instead. Got you. A man pretending to protect his friend from gold diggers. A mafia boss playing civilian. She wiped her eyes. Worst blind date in history. Or, David said, almost smiling, the most honest one either of us has had in years. 3 days later, her phone chimed with an unknown number. This is David. The real one. Coffee? Kira stared at the message, thumb hovering over delete. Men with shadows and violence weren't safe investments in anything resembling normal. Stumptown Roasters. Tomorrow, 10 a.m. I'll be there. He arrived early, wearing jeans and a black Henley that made him look younger, more approachable. His eyes still carried that watchful intensity, but when he smiled at her approach, it reached them for the first time. You came. Curiosity. Kira sat, accepting the oat milk latte he'd already ordered. Cinnamon, which he shouldn't have known she preferred. He'd been paying attention. You could have disappeared. Didn't want to. He cradled black coffee. Because you laughed. When I told you what I do, you laughed. Not from fear, from absurdity. He took a sip. No one in my world laughs like that. Everything is calculated, controlled. And you want chaos? I want real. They talked until closing time, until the barista stacked chairs pointedly. David spoke of growing up between worlds. Korean expectations versus American reality. Family legacy pressing down like water at depth. Kira described her design business barely covering bills, the exhaustion of impossible demands and deadlines. Why freelance? David asked, as they moved into Portland's drizzle. Control. Working for someone else means they dictate everything. Hours, projects, worth. Freelancing lets me choose my clients, schedule, my life. She glanced sideways. I'm guessing you understand being your own boss. More than you know. Though my version involves significantly more blood and fewer design presentations. Do you ever wish you could walk away? David stopped. Rain misted around them, turning streetlights into diffused gold halos. Every day. But walking away isn't an option when your family's legacy is written in territory and loyalty and blood contracts older than you are. You inherit it. Shoulder it. Don't get to choose. Everyone gets to choose. Not everyone. He started walking again, hands pocketed. My older brother tried. Wanted medical school, normal life. They killed him for it. Kira's breath caught. They? Rival family. Message to my father. Abandoning the organization meant death. His voice flattened. I was 19. Watched him bleed out on our mother's kitchen floor while my father arranged retaliation instead of calling for help. David, that's who I am. The man who took over when my father died, who expanded our influence, made our name something whispered with respect or fear. He turned to face her. Who orders violence and signs death warrants and sleeps in a penthouse surrounded by security because I've lost count of my enemies? His expression held raw vulnerability. So when you ask if I can walk away, no. Not without getting everyone I care about killed, not without becoming my brother. Another corpse, another message. Kira reached out, taking his hand. His scarred knuckles felt warm against her palm. I'm sorry. For your brother. All of it. David's fingers closed around hers, grip desperate. They stood while traffic rushed past and rain soaked their jackets, connected by the simple act of being seen. Walk with me, he said finally. They ended up at his penthouse, invitation casual, acceptance equally so, both pretending this wasn't significant, sleek glass and steel overlooking the Willamette, security assessing Kira with professional thoroughness. They're protective, David said in the climbing elevator. Don't take it personally. Should I be worried? About them? No, they work for me. He glanced at her. About being alone with me? That's your call. Kira considered. Insane. Dangerous. Contrary to every self-preservation instinct. If you wanted to hurt me, you already would have, and that's not why you brought me here. I brought you here because I wanted you to see where I actually live. The real me. Not the restaurant persona or business front or terrifying boss. Just me. The penthouse was stunning, floor-to-ceiling windows, minimalist furniture in greys and blacks, Korean art both traditional and contemporary. But Kira noticed the corner dedicated to books, overflowing shelves, speaking of voracious reading. Philosophy, history, poetry. She pulled out worn Korean poetry. You read poetry? My mother's influence. David moved to the windows, staring at Portland's lights on black water. She read to us every night, said men who only knew violence would become monsters. We needed beauty to stay human. She sounds wise. She's dead. 5 years. Cancer. His reflection was hollow. She made me promise to find something beyond this life. Real love, not transactional arrangements. He laughed bitterly. That's why I substituted for my friend. Thought maybe, if someone didn't know who I was, I could see what being wanted for myself felt like. And what did you discover? That you're the most honest liar I've ever met. Kira laughed despite herself, and David turned with something like fondness, warming his severe features. I should tell you my real name. It's not Maya Chen, it's Kira Summers. I know. I had you investigated after dinner. You what? Standard procedure. Anyone close to me is vetted. He held up a hand. But I deleted the file 3 days ago, told my security to forget you exist, because I don't want to know you through a background check. I want to know you the way normal people do, through conversations and gradually revealed truths. She should have been furious about the invasion. Instead, she felt touched that he'd deliberately chosen ignorance over control. So what do you know about me? That your name is Kira Summers, 28, interior designer, Northwest Portland. That your favorite coffee is oat milk latte with cinnamon. That you laugh when nervous. That you're brave enough to stand in rain with a dangerous man and hold his hand when he's braking. More than any background check provides. Exactly. They ordered Thai food, ate on his couch, argued about books and movies and pineapple on pizza. David was funny when relaxed, dry humor emerging between pad thai bites, and Kira discovered she genuinely liked him beyond physical attraction and dangerous allure. Tell me about your design work. Kira described her recent commission, transforming a cramped studio into spacious warmth. She showed photos, explaining choices with passion usually reserved for client pitches. This is beautiful, real talent. David studied the images. Doesn't always feel that way. Most days I'm scrambling for clients, dealing with champagne expectations on beer budgets, wondering if I should quit and get a regular job. But you don't. No, because giving up means they win. Everyone who said I wasn't good enough, smart enough, right enough, giving up means they were right. They weren't right. David's voice was fierce. Never were. Something shifted, awareness becoming tension, becoming heat. David moved closer, and Kira didn't retreat. His hand cupped her face, thumb brushing her cheekbone with devastating gentleness. Tell me to stop. Kira closed the distance instead, kissing him with months of frustration and loneliness and need. David responded instantly, arms wrapping around her waist, and Kira lost herself in being wanted, held, seen exactly as she was. When they broke apart, breathing hard. David rested his forehead against hers. I should tell you this is the worst possible idea. Getting involved with me puts a target on your back, makes you vulnerable to everyone wanting to hurt me. I don't care. You should. But I don't. David pulled back, searching her face for doubt or fear. Kira met his gaze steadily, letting him see the truth. She was terrified and exhilarated and absolutely certain she wanted this, wanted him, wanted whatever came next. You're going to destroy me. Not complaint, reverence. Promise? They kissed again, slower, savoring. When David's phone rang repeatedly, he cursed and pulled away. I have to take this. Work crisis. He stepped into another room. Kira heard his voice through the door, speaking rapid Korean rising with obvious tension. Crisis. In his world, violence, territory disputes, threats requiring immediate response. This was her chance to leave, slip out before the evening progressed, before she got more entangled. Text him later, let him down gently, return to safe, ordinary life. Instead, Kira Googled David Kim Portland Korean Mafia. Results were sparse but damning. Articles about territory consolidations, suspected murders with no evidence, criminal empire operating with precision that law enforcement couldn't touch. Photos of David at charity galas always controlled. One article called him the most dangerous man in the Pacific Northwest. David returned, phone in hand, tension radiating. He saw what she was reading and went still. Find anything interesting? Just confirmation you weren't exaggerating. Kira set down her phone. How bad is the crisis? Bad enough that I need to leave. Now. David scrubbed his hair, first genuinely unguarded gesture she'd seen. Rival family made a move on our territory. I have to respond or we look weak. Respond how? You don't want those details. David, I'll have someone drive you home. He was already moving toward the door, transformation complete, from tender to boss whose word was law. I'm sorry. This isn't how I wanted tonight to end. When will I see you again? David paused. Do you want to? After. He gestured at her phone, the articles, the reality laid bare. Yes, vulnerable relief flashed across his face. Tomorrow, I'll text you. He hesitated, then came back to kiss her once more, hard and brief and desperate. Be safe, Kira. Please. You too. He vanished, leaving Kira alone with cooling Thai food and her heart beating too fast. Through windows, Portland glittered like broken glass on black velvet. She should be terrified, should be running. Instead, she was already counting hours until tomorrow. David didn't text the next day, or the day after. Kira threw herself into work, a boutique hotel lobby commission, hours selecting furniture and textures creating sophisticated comfort. But her mind kept drifting to his penthouse, how he'd looked at her like she was precious and dangerous, the terror in his eyes when he'd said goodbye. On the fourth day, someone knocked at 2 a.m. Kira grabbed the baseball bat by her bed. Portland wasn't particularly dangerous, but Atlanta had taught her preparedness, and approached cautiously. It's me, David's voice through the wood. Please, I need... It cracked. I need you. She threw open the door. David stood in her hallway, suit jacket missing, white shirt blood-stained, hair disheveled, face bruised, hands trembling as they gripped the doorframe. But his eyes stopped her heart, haunted, desperate, barely holding together. What happened? Can I come in? He swayed. I know I have no right showing up like this, but I didn't know where else to go. Kira pulled him inside, locking the door. She guided him to the couch, gentle hands on his shoulders, and retrieved her first aid kit. Tell me. She cleaned blood from his knuckles with precision. None seemed his. Minor defensive wounds, suggesting a fight he'd emerged from mostly unscathed. The territorial dispute escalated. They killed 3 of my men. Good men. Loyal. He closed his eyes. One had a daughter starting college next month. I had to respond. Had to make them understand attacking us has consequences. What did you do? What I always do, what I was raised to do. His eyes opened, weighted with violence, burdened by unmakeable choices. I gave the order. They're dead now, all of them. Kira's hands stilled. She should be horrified, should be calling police, kicking him out, ending this. Instead, why did you come here? Because you're the only person in the world who knows what I really am and hasn't run yet. His laugh was bitter, broken. Because I needed to see you, to remember there's more to existence than blood and territory and endless cycles of violence. David, I'm going to get you killed. He pulled away, standing abruptly. That's what happens. Everyone I care about becomes a target. My brother, my mother, anyone close. He moved toward the door. I shouldn't have come. I shouldn't. Stop. Kira blocked his path, small but unmovable. You came here because you needed someone. You needed me. So stop running and just be here. Be present. Let me help. You can't help me. Maybe not. But I can be here while you're falling apart. She cupped his face, forcing eye contact. You don't have to be the boss right now. You don't have to control everything. You can just be David, the man who reads poetry and orders my favorite coffee, the man who's scared and hurting and human. David's composure shattered. He pulled her close, burying his face against her neck, and Kira felt his shoulders shake with silent sobs he'd probably held back for days. She held him, stroking his hair, whispering meaningless comfort while he broke apart in her arms. They stayed until dawn painted the sky pale grey. Eventually, David pulled back, wiping his eyes. I'm sorry, that was human. And it's okay. It's not okay. His voice firmed, control returning. None of this is okay. I kill people, Kira. I order violence. I'm responsible for things that would make you sick. I know. And you're still here. I'm still here. David stared at her, something shifting in his expression. I need to tell you something. About that night, our blind date. Why I agreed to substitute. Okay. I wasn't just protecting my friend from gold diggers. I was testing myself. He moved to the window, staring at the awakening city. My mother's dying wish was that I find real love, someone who could see past what I do, who I am in the organization, and connect with the person underneath. I thought it was impossible, that women would either be terrified or attracted to the power, but never to me. And then? Then you showed up, pretending to be Maya Chen, so obviously uncomfortable with the deception that I knew immediately you were hiding too. He turned to face her. When I told you what I really was, you laughed. When I showed you my scars and violence and broken pieces, you didn't flinch. You just stayed. Kira crossed to stand beside him. I stayed because I recognized you. The hiding, the armor, the exhaustion of always performing. I understood it because I do it too. We're both liars who found each other by lying. Or maybe we're both people brave enough to stop lying. She took his hand, lacing fingers together. You asked me to see you, David. The real you. I do. I see the violence and power and danger. But I also see the man who mourns his people, who keeps his mother's poetry, who came to my door at 2 a.m. because he needed someone to witness his humanity. Kira, I'm not saying this will be easy. I'm not stupid enough to think dating a mafia boss comes without consequences. But I'm saying I choose this. I choose you. The real you. As long as you choose the real me too. David pulled her close, chin resting on her head. I choose you. Even though it terrifies me. Even though I'll spend every day afraid something will happen to you because of me. I choose you. They stood while morning light filled the apartment, turning everything soft and golden. Kira felt tension slowly leave David's body, felt him relax, like a man who'd finally found safe harbor. I should probably shower, I'm covered in. Blood and bad decisions, Kira supplied, and he laughed, real, surprised, genuine. Something like that. While David showered, Kira made breakfast, scrambled eggs, toast, coffee strong enough to strip paint. When he emerged in borrowed sweats too short and a t-shirt straining across his shoulders, hair damp, face clean, he looked younger, vulnerable, human. They ate in comfortable silence, and Kira marveled at how natural this felt, sharing breakfast with a man who'd ordered people killed hours before, whose presence made her both terrified and more alive than she'd felt in years. Thank you. David set down his mug. For this. For last night. For not calling police or running or doing any sensible thing you should have done. Thank you for trusting me. For showing me the parts you usually hide. For being honest when honesty costs you. What happens now? Now? Kira smiled. Now, we figure it out. One day at a time, one moment at a time. We learn each other's truths slowly, carefully, until the lies we started with become the foundation for something real. David's answering smile was tentative but genuine. I'd like that. Me too. 6 months later, Kira stood in Hannock Garden where it had all begun. Soft lights, sesame oil, memory. But this time, no lies, no fake names, no pretending. David waited at table 12, same expensive suit, but now his eyes warmed when she approached. Now his smile came easy, genuine, earned through months of revealed truths and built trust. Kira Summers. He stood, pulling out her chair. You look beautiful. David Kim. You look less like you're planning to intimidate someone. I'm planning to feed you excellent Korean food and maybe convince you to come home with me after. Sounds dangerous. Probably. He poured her water, the gesture loaded with history and inside jokes and everything they'd built together. Still worth it, though. Kira raised her glass. To the worst blind date in history. David clinked his glass against hers, eyes crinkling. To the most honest lies we ever told. To us, Kira corrected, the real us, finally. To us, David agreed, and meant it. Outside, Portland rain began to fall, washing streets clean. Inside, two people who'd started with deception found truth in each other's eyes and held on tight.